For the wives of Hollywood's top plastic surgeons.
Yeah, but even the shape of your face has changed.
No, it has not. I've had no plastic surgery on my face.
The link between wealth and desire is undeniable. The more you have, the more you can reach for. More access, more options, more power to change yourself. But the real question is this: should there be limits to that access? Plastic surgery has a long history. It's real. It's often safe. It helps people heal, recover, and reclaim parts of themselves. But when it goes wrong in this industry, it doesn't go wrong quietly. Mistakes here don't fade. They freeze. They follow you. They turn faces into headlines and humans into cautionary tales. Because in a world where beauty is currency, surgery becomes a gamble, and the house always lets you play again. Starting with the celebrity who took one risk and paid a public price so big, it haunted the entire generation that watched it happen. Tara Reid. Tara Reid didn't wake up one day and decide to ruin her face for sport. She was the girl next door fantasy of an entire era. The kind of pretty that felt safe. The kind that didn't threaten you. The kind Hollywood pretends it loves right before it sharpens the knife. And that's where the problem begins. Because Hollywood doesn't protect what it loves. It tests it. Like a bored kid pulling wings off a fly and calling it curiosity.
What?
Tara started as the fun one, loose, a little messy in a way that felt human. American Pie made her immortal without trying. She didn't look engineered. She looked real, which in Hollywood is basically a temporary condition. The cameras adored her, which meant they also started measuring her, comparing her, lining her up next to newer, sharper, more manufactured faces. And that's when the whisper started. Not yelling, just enough to crawl into your brain at night. A little tweak won't hurt. Everyone's doing it. You don't want to fall behind. Hollywood says this with a smile while holding a scalpel behind its back like it's about to play a prank. So she did what most people would do when the room keeps clapping but the applause sounds nervous. She tweaked. Small things. Harmless things. The kind of changes nobody admits are addictive until it's too late. A little filler here, a little Botox there. Like adding salt to food. 1 pinch is fine. 10 pinches and suddenly you're choking. Her face started stiffening in places where it used to move. The smile didn't land the same. The eyes stopped doing that warm thing. And that's when the internet smelled blood. Because the internet doesn't wait for a disaster. It circles before it happens, like a group chat with bad intentions. The cameras got closer. The angles got meaner. Every photo turned into a forensic report. Zoom, pause, screenshot, circle, arrow, caption. Tara Reid wasn't photographed anymore. She was examined. Paparazzi didn't take pictures. They collected evidence. The media stopped asking how she was doing and started asking what happened to her face, like it was a missing person. And the worst part is nobody ever asks that question because they care. They ask it because confusion is entertaining, and confusion gets clicks. Then came the phase where it wasn't just subtle anymore. Cheekbones sharpened like they were trying to escape her face. Lips froze mid-thought like her brain hit buffering. Expressions that used to feel alive now felt paused, like a video stuck on 0.5 seconds of regret. And the internet had a field day. Memes everywhere. Before and afters stacked like a crime timeline. People who had never met her speaking with the confidence of surgeons and the empathy of a toaster. If public judgment burned calories, half the internet would be ripped just from talking about Tara Reid. And here's the ugly truth nobody likes to admit. The world didn't get cruel because she changed. The world got cruel because she changed visibly. Hollywood doesn't punish surgery. It punishes bad outcomes. If it looks good, they call it a glow-up. If it looks off, they call it a tragedy. Same action, different headline. Tara didn't lose favor because she touched her face. She lost favor because the illusion cracked. And once the illusion breaks, people stop seeing a person and start seeing content. Tara eventually said it out loud. She admitted trusting the wrong people. Admitted chasing something that kept moving further away. Admitted believing that one more tweak would fix the last tweak. That's not vanity. That's a loop. And loops don't end with satisfaction. They end with exhaustion and a mirror you avoid because it reminds you that you listened to too many voices and none of them were yours. Hollywood sells perfection like it's a subscription service, but they never tell you it auto-renews forever. What really died wasn't her beauty. It was her ease. The thing that made people root for her, the casual charm, the loose energy, the feeling that she was having fun instead of performing it. That's what surgery can't give back once it's gone. You can fix lines. You can inflate volume. You can tighten skin. But you can't surgically reinstall authenticity once it's been scared out of someone by constant judgment and flashing cameras. And the darkest joke of all is this. Hollywood keeps whispering even after the damage is done. One more adjustment, one more correction, one more chance to fix what the last fix broke. That's how you end up trapped in a face that looks expensive but feels rented. Tara Reid didn't just become a cautionary tale. She became a reminder that the industry doesn't care if you survive the process. It only cares if people are watching. She went from America's sweetheart to a meme template without without ever doing anything malicious, illegal, or evil. Her crime was listening. Her punishment was visibility. And that's the real horror story nobody warns you about. Fame doesn't ruin people loudly. It does it quietly, tweak by tweak, until the person you remember becomes a comparison photo instead of a memory. And while Tara Reid shows what happens when charm meets pressure and loses, the next person didn't lose charm slowly. She arrived already perfect, already worshipped, already trapped by a face the world refused to let age, breathe, or exist without permission, and yet completely undone by the same Hollywood machinery that made her a star. Megan Fox. Megan Fox didn't climb into Hollywood. She crash-landed, loud, shiny, unfairly perfect. Transformers didn't introduce her, it weaponized her. Slow-motion walks, wind doing unpaid overtime, the camera treating her face like a religious object. Overnight, she wasn't a person anymore. She was a screenshot, a wallpaper, a standard nobody asked for but everyone compared themselves to anyway. And that's the curse, because when the world crowns your face as flawless, it also decides it owns it. No aging allowed, no changes permitted, no bad angles, just eternal perfection or public execution. At first, Megan did nothing wrong. That was the problem. Her face became a measuring stick. Men obsessed. Women compared. Studios panicked. When your beauty becomes a brand, the pressure doesn't come from insecurity. It comes from maintenance. Hollywood doesn't say, fix yourself. It says, preserve yourself. Like a museum exhibit that's not allowed to gather dust or grow human features. And so the whisper arrived. Soft, friendly, surgical. Just keep it sharp. Just stay ahead. Just make sure time doesn't win. So the tweaks began. Not crazy ones. The kind people swear don't count. A nose refined like it needed permission to exist. Lips nudged fuller like they were late to a meeting. A chin here, a jaw there. Nothing dramatic, nothing loud. But here's the problem with being Megan Fox. People know your face better than they know their own family. You move 1 millimeter, and the internet screams like you set fire to a church. Side-by-sides appeared instantly. Dates, years, arrows, circles, conspiracy threads written by people who need hobbies. The internet didn't ask if she was okay. It asked if she had crossed the line yet. That invisible line where beauty turns into betrayal. Because that's what they call it when a beautiful woman changes. Betrayal. Like she broke a contract she never signed. Like she owed strangers the same face forever. And every new photo turned into a court hearing. Some said she ruined it. Some said she was still perfect. Everyone agreed on one thing. They were entitled to an opinion. And Megan felt it. You could tell. The confidence shifted. The way she talked about herself turned sharp and defensive. She admitted the pressure. Admitted the fear. Admitted that being called the most beautiful woman alive sounds like a compliment until you realize it means you're never allowed to relax your face again. One bad angle and suddenly you're trending for the wrong reason. One filler appointment too many and people talk about you like you're a failed experiment instead of a human being. The dark comedy is this. Megan never went extreme. She didn't melt her face. She didn't rebuild it. She just tried to stay perfect in a system that moves the goalpost every year. And that's the trap. You don't need to destroy your face to be punished. You just need to remind people that perfection was always an illusion. The moment she looked different, even slightly, the spell broke. And once the spell breaks, people get mean, fast. Hollywood helped, yet dropped her, mocked her, pretended the same industry that zoomed in on her body for years suddenly had morals, used her looks when it sold tickets, then blamed her looks when it wanted distance. Classic move. Build the statue, then complain when it cracks. Megan wasn't punished for surgery. She was punished for reminding Hollywood that beauty isn't stable. It moves, it shifts, it ages. And that scares them more than talent ever could. Now her face lives in permanent comparison mode. Every new appearance judged against a younger version frozen in 2007. No win condition. Too natural and they say she's aging badly. Too polished and they say she's plastic. The comments never stop. The jokes never die. And that's the real lesson here. When your face becomes a global reference point, even survival feels like failure. Megan Fox didn't lose her beauty. She lost control over it. And in Hollywood, that's worse. Because once they decide your face belongs to the audience, every choice you make becomes a scandal, and every change becomes a headline. And while Megan's story is about subtle pressure and quiet panic, the next person didn't tweak quietly at all. She didn't ease into it. She rebuilt herself in public, unapologetically, until her face became fashion history, whether people liked it or not. Donatella Versace. Donatella Versace didn't wake up trying to look normal. Normal was never the job. She woke up trying to survive a spotlight hot enough to melt diamonds. After Gianni was murdered, she didn't just inherit a fashion house. She inherited pressure so heavy it could bench press a human soul. Cameras everywhere. Critics hungry. Designers circling like sharks in designer suits. And aging in fashion is treated like a crime scene. So naturally, Donatella picked up the only weapon Hollywood respects. Surgery. Lots of it. Because nothing says grief management like cheekbones sharp enough to cut glass and lips inflated like they're filing for independence. At first, people said she was just refining. That's rich people code for slowly turning your face into a science project. One tweak became another, then another, and another. Each one promising confidence, power, control. Each one quietly screaming insecurity with a platinum blonde accent. Her skin tightened like it was afraid to breathe. Her cheeks rose like they were trying to escape responsibility. responsibility. Her lips puffed up so much they started entering rooms before she did, and the world watched, pretending to be shocked while refreshing the page for better angles. The internet did what it always does: zoomed, froze, compared, memed. Donatella's face became less of a face and more of an event. People stopped asking how she was doing and started asking what procedure she had last, like it was a seasonal collection. Late-night jokes, fashion blogs whispering, Reddit threads acting like they were licensed surgeons who graduated from Google University. Everyone had opinions. None of them were invited. But here's the thing they didn't expect. Donatella didn't flinch. She didn't apologize. She didn't hide behind sunglasses and excuses. She walked into every runway show like a final boss with cheekbones made of spite. She owned it, fully, loudly, fearlessly. If her face was going to be a spectacle, she made sure it was also a statement. And that confused people, because Hollywood only understands two roles: victim or villain. Donatella chose emperor. Her transformation stopped being about beauty a long time ago. It became armor, a mask, a brand. When your entire legacy is built on visual excess, subtlety feels like surrender. She didn't chase youth. She chased dominance. And yes, the result scared people, because nothing makes the public uncomfortable like a woman who refuses to age quietly and refuses to feel sorry about it, especially when she has enough money to do it louder than everyone else. The dark joke is that Donatella didn't lose relevance because of her face. She gained it. People couldn't stop talking, couldn't stop staring, couldn't stop judging. And in fashion, attention is oxygen. She turned herself into a living logo, a walking warning sign, a reminder that reinvention doesn't have to be pretty to be powerful. It just has to be unforgettable. But don't get it twisted. This wasn't a victory without cost. When your face becomes your headline, your humanity gets edited out. People forget there's a person under the filler, the grief, the pressure, the impossible expectations. Donatella survived by becoming something larger than human, and survival, in this industry, often looks insane from the outside. And while Donatella chose control and doubled down, the next story isn't about power or branding. It's about damage. Real damage. Fists, bones, blood. A man who didn't chase perfection, but tried to rebuild a face that life physically destroyed. Enter Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke didn't lose his face to vanity. He lost it to violence, ego, and a boxing ring that treated his skull like a rental car. Before the damage, he was dangerous pretty. The kind of handsome that didn't ask permission, smirk like trouble, jawline like it had legal issues. Hollywood loved him because he looked like he might punch the camera if it disrespected him. And then he actually did something worse. He stepped into the ring, over and over. And the ring doesn't care about your career. It only cares about breaking things. Noses snapped, cheeks shifted, bones cracked like cheap furniture. By the time Mickey wanted his old life back, his face looked like it had been in a bar fight with time itself. And Hollywood did what Hollywood always does. It recoiled. Not slowly, instantly. No patience for healing, no empathy for context, just confusion and disgust wrapped in silence. So Mickey did the only thing someone desperate does when the mirror starts looking like an enemy. He went under the knife, then again and again, each time hoping to get back to the man he remembered, each time drifting further away. This wasn't glow-up culture. This was repair gone wrong. Cheekbones built too high like scaffolding nobody took down. Skin stretched so tight it looked borrowed. A face frozen somewhere between apology and regret. And the worst part was how honest he was about it. He said it straight. Wrong surgeon, bad decisions, too many procedures. That honesty didn't save him. It made the tragedy clearer. Because now everyone could see it wasn't ego, it was panic. The internet was brutal. Not shocked, brutal. Memes, jokes, side-by-sides that felt less like comparison and more like punishment. People laughed at his face without laughing at the reason. They forgot this wasn't about beauty. It was about damage control after literal trauma. But context doesn't trend. Shock does. And Mickey's face became a symbol of what happens when a man tries to undo physical destruction in an industry that only accepts perfection. Hollywood never forgave him. It pretended to admire his comeback while keeping him at arm's length, cast him as broken men, haunted men, characters that matched the face they'd already written off. And Mickey played them well, because at that point, there was no acting left. It was autobiography with better lighting. The darkest part is that Mickey never tried to be perfect. He just wanted to look like himself again. And in chasing that, he lost even more. Surgery didn't erase the damage. It amplified it, turned survival into spectacle, turned repair into ridicule. And once your face becomes a warning label, people stop seeing the fighter and only see the fallout. Mickey Rourke's story isn't about ego. It's about regret, about trusting the wrong hands at the wrong time, about how quickly Hollywood abandons men once they stop fitting the fantasy. He didn't get punished for aging. He got punished for breaking. And while Mickey's story bleeds honesty and pain, the next one doesn't ask for sympathy. It doesn't even ask for understanding. It stares you in the face and dares you to look away. Jocelyn's tale is something else entirely. A reinvention driven by obsession. Not survival, not regret, pure ambition. A literal metamorphosis that became legend, myth, and meme all at once, earning her the world's unforgettable nickname, Catwoman.
Jocelyn Wildenstein didn't drift into transformation. She charged at it like it owed her money.
This wasn't insecurity sneaking up late at night. This was obsession, waking up early and putting on lipstick. She had the money, the access, and the confidence that rules don't apply when your bank account looks like a phone number. Married to a billionaire art dealer, living in rooms that smelled like power and old money, Jocelyn learned one brutal truth fast. In her world, love wasn't spoken, it was maintained. And maintenance, apparently, meant turning your face into a long-term construction site.
It started with control, not beauty, control.
She wanted to stay wanted, stay chosen, stay untouchable. So she sculpted, and then sculpted again. Cheekbones climbed higher than common sense, eyes pulled back like they were trying to escape the conversation, lips inflated until subtlety filed a missing person report. This wasn't a makeover, this was a campaign. A decades-long commitment to saying, I will not fade, even if I have to scare everyone into remembering me.
The tabloids lost their minds. And by lost, I mean rented storage units just for her photos. They gave her a nickname because humans panic when something doesn't fit the template. Catwoman. Easier to laugh than to process. Easier to meme than to ask why someone would do this to themselves in slow motion. Late-night jokes, magazine covers, internet commentary that treated her face like a theme park attraction. Horrified, but lining up anyway. But here's what makes Jocelyn different.
She didn't flinch, not once. She didn't explain, didn't apologize, didn't do this sad interview tour. She walked through New York like a luxury villain, perfectly aware that people stared longer than they should. Her face wasn't a mistake to her. It was a statement. A very expensive, very loud middle finger to aging, judgment, and normal human limits.
The dark humor writes itself. People laughed while secretly respecting the audacity,
Because there's something terrifyingly honest about someone who refuses to pretend. Jocelyn never claimed natural beauty. She claimed ownership. She turned herself into a living headline and dared the world to stop looking. And they never did. Because you can't look away from someone who looks like they chose chaos on purpose.
Her marriage eventually collapsed. The money ran. The story went from billionaire fantasy to legal drama.
But the face stayed. Unchanged in spirit, if not in structure. It became her legacy, whether she wanted that or not. Not art, not fashion, not love. The face. A reminder of what happens when obsession meets unlimited resources and zero breaks.
Jocelyn Wildenstein isn't a cautionary tale wrapped in regret.
She's a monument to excess. To what happens when desire has no finish line. She didn't lose herself. She replaced herself, piece by piece. And the world will never forget her. Which, in a twisted way, might be exactly what she wanted. And while Jocelyn turned transformation into legend, the next person didn't build a myth. She grew up inside a circus and learned how to survive by changing herself in front of everyone. But obsession doesn't end with one billionaire socialite. It trickles down, infecting younger stars in a world where transformation is currency, attention is power, and surgery is survival. Next up is someone who didn't just chase attention, she practically weaponized it. Courtney Stodden.
Courtney Stodden didn't walk into fame. She was thrown into it like raw meat into a cage, and everyone pretended it was entertainment. 16 years old, bleached hair, heavy makeup, a marriage that felt illegal just to watch. The world didn't just stare. It pointed and laughed and argued like it was watching a reality show instead of a teenager being chewed alive in real time. And once the internet smells confusion mixed with scandal, it doesn't let go. It digs in and asks for more. From day one, Courtney learned a brutal rule. Your body is the product. Your face is the headline. And youth is the only thing anyone wants to buy. So she adapted the only way she knew how. She changed herself. Loudly, publicly, repeatedly. Surgery wasn't a secret. It was a coping mechanism with anesthesia. Breasts bigger, lips fuller, cheeks puffed, hair blonder. Everything turned up, like she was trying to drown out the noise with volume. And the noise never stopped anyway. The internet was ruthless. Not curious. Ruthless. Screenshots stacked like trading cards. Before and afters used like weapons. People didn't ask why a teenager felt the need to rebuild herself. They asked why her lips looked like they were fighting gravity. Memes came fast. Jokes came faster. And somehow everyone forgot she grew up with strangers voting on her face like it was a reality show finale every week. Courtney didn't hide from it.
She leaned into it, posted more, changed more, smiled wider while clearly breaking inside. When you're raised in public humiliation, attention becomes confusing. Hate and love feel the same as long as someone is looking. And that's the darkest part. Surgery didn't start as vanity. It started as armor. If they're going to stare anyway, you might as well control what they see, even if it hurts, even if it costs you your reflection.
Later, she said it out loud. The pressure. fear, the trauma, the regret, the feeling of not knowing who she was supposed to be underneath all the work. Some days she didn't recognize herself. Other days she didn't want to, because the version of her the internet built was louder, shinier, and easier to survive as than the scared kid underneath the fillers.
Courtney Stodden isn't just a transformation story. She's a warning label slapped on fame itself. What happens when adulthood gets skipped, boundaries get ignored, and surgery becomes the only language left to speak? People still joke, still mock, still comment like it's harmless, but the truth is uglier. She didn't chase perfection. She chased control in a world that never gave her any. And while Courtney's story shows what happens when pressure hits too early, the next one proves that even grown adults don't survive the camera without scars. Because when reality TV moves in, it doesn't just film your life, it edits your face too. Nicole Snooki Polizzi. Nicole Snooki Polizzi didn't just appear on our screens. She exploded onto them. Glitter, poofed hair, energy drinks, and a personality loud enough to start arguments in empty rooms. The world didn't just watch her, it absorbed her. Cameras followed, producers shouted, fans screamed. And when everyone's life is a live feed, even the smallest tweak to your face becomes global news. Reality TV isn't reality. It's surveillance with editing, and Snooki was under it 24/7. The pressure got to her. Subtle at first. Lip fillers, a cheek enhancement here, a tiny contour there. Nothing drastic, or so it seemed. But the cameras don't lie. Angles don't forgive. One episode, one selfie, one clip later, the internet had already created a database of every facial movement she made. Memes, reaction videos, side-by-sides. Her body became a spreadsheet. Snooki didn't just glow up. She became a case study in public obsession. And of course, the internet delivered commentary like it was a civic duty. Some called her plastic. Some called her brave. Most called her unhinged, in fun ways. The dark joke is that she didn't even do it for attention. Attention just found her, magnified, and shoved her face into every corner of culture. Every small enhancement was amplified 10,000 times over, analyzed like a criminal report on her personal life. You can't blink in reality TV, not once. But Snooki didn't crumble under it. She thrived. Chaos became her aesthetic. The plastic lips, the tightened cheeks, the poofed hair, they weren't mistakes. They were tools, weapons, armor. She knew the internet would dissect everything, so she leaned into it. Meme-worthy or not, she owned it. Public scrutiny became her runway. Every judgmental tweet, fuel. Every joke, just more clicks for her brand. Her story shows a truth about fame, amplified by reality TV. Small tweaks don't stay small. The world turns them into events. Every filler becomes evidence. Every enhancement becomes a headline. But you survive by owning the absurdity, by making your chaos your currency. Snooki survived. Snooki thrived. Snooki laughed while the world gasped. And while Snooki mastered survival with humor and boldness, the next person didn't just survive. She weaponized her transformation. Every procedure, every post, every public appearance became a calculated statement. Extreme, audacious, impossible to ignore. Khaki Jordan. Casey Jordan didn't tiptoe into transformation. She cannonballed. Full force, no floaties, straight into the deep end of cosmetic chaos. Adult film star turned social media personality, she treated her body like a living art project. And the internet, her jury, her gallery, her critics with popcorn. Every procedure wasn't subtle. Multiple breast augmentations, lip reconstruction, jawline tweaks, Botox so thick you could see it from space. Casey didn't just experiment. She built a human billboard that screamed, "Watch me evolve, haters." Her posts were events. Every reappearance online showed something new. Sharper jaw lines, fuller lips, different nose angles, skin tighter than the plot of a bad reality show. And of course, the internet responded with forensic obsession. Reddit threads exploded. TikToks zoomed in like they were CSI Instagram edition. Memes popped faster than her injections. CGI comparisons, reaction videos, side-by-sides. People spent hours debating if she was human or an AI experiment gone rogue. And she knew it every single second. The dark humor here is delicious. Some called her plastic. Some praised her audacity. She didn't flinch, didn't hide, didn't apologize. My body, my rules, she said. Critics? Jealous, obsessed, close-minded. Casey weaponized the attention, turned judgment into fuel and chaos into brand. Every tweak, every post, every new angle was a statement. I decide my image, and the world just watches. Her story is both warning and celebration. Public perception is a razor blade. Transformation will always be dissected, debated, meaned. And Casey? She danced on the edge, smiling at the fire. She didn't chase perfection. She chased evolution, spectacle, immortality. The darker joke is that in a world obsessed with cosmetic control, she controlled the narrative by being unignorable. And that's a level of power Hollywood pretends doesn't exist. Casey Jordan proves something brutal. Fame doesn't just magnify flaws, it magnifies choices. Every decision becomes content. Every tweak becomes history. And if you survive the commentary, you turn attention into authority. Not everyone can do it. Most fail spectacularly. But Casey thrived in chaos, proving that transformation can be both weapon and armor if you dare to own it.
And while Casey's story is extreme, deliberate, and bold, the next celebrity didn't just transform for empowerment. She detonated every limit at once. Total surgical blitz. Full chaos. Reality TV history in one day. Just when you thought you'd seen extreme reinvention, someone took it to a whole other level. A level so intense, so documented, that the entire world gasped, laughed, and judged simultaneously. Heidi Montag. Heidi Montag didn't ease into cosmetic chaos. She detonated it. In 2009, she didn't take small steps. She took a nuclear option. 10 procedures in one day, all at once. Not a tweak, not a gentle upgrade. A full-on reality TV facial and body apocalypse. Breast augmentation, chin reduction, brow lift, liposuction, butt enhancement, fat injections, ear reshaping, back sculpting, and a few more she probably made up in the operating room just to flex. One day, one operating room. Boom. The internet did not survive this quietly. The cameras, of course, were merciless. Reality TV doesn't wait for recovery. It waits for content. Every swelling cheek, every bandaged brow, every stitched lip became episode material. The tabloids had a field day. Memes exploded before the anesthesia even wore off. People laughed, gasped, cried, and judged all at once. And Heidi, she didn't hide. She became a walking spectacle, proof that fame plus insecurity plus access to surgeons equals chaos you can't unsee. The dark humor here is relentless. She couldn't even sleep on her back. Chronic pain, almost dying, being literally unable to relax her body. And yet somehow, the world kept staring. Social media zoomed. Fans and haters alike paused every frame, dissecting the results like she was a science experiment on human vanity. Every camera angle was a test, every photograph a psychological exam she didn't sign up for. Fame, it turns out, is a flamethrower, and Heidi got roasted. And the tragedy? The choices didn't lead to liberation or empowerment. They led to a warning label tattooed on public consciousness. This is what happens when obsession meets access, the world said, collectively horrified yet unable to look away. Her story wasn't glamour. It was chaos. It was pain. It was dark comedy writ in plastic and stitches. One day of surgery, 10 procedures, a lifetime of internet judgment. That's Hollywood in a nutshell. But here's the kicker. Heidi survived it. She walked out, poofed hair intact, reality TV smile intact, and became both a cautionary tale and a living punchline. Some pitied her, some mocked her, some memorized her as the ultimate "how far is too far" reference. And in that mix of fear, fascination, and humor, she solidified her place in pop culture history. Chaos became her brand, pain became content, and regret became something the public could consume while sipping coffee at 3 a.m., laughing at someone else's surgical misfortune. And while Heidi's story is a textbook of extremity, surgery as spectacle, and reality TV horror, the next celebrity on our list didn't chase chaos. She embraced it, cultivated it, and built an empire of audacious, unapologetic, over-the-top transformation that became her identity, her art, and her power. Lil' Kim. Lil' Kim didn't tiptoe into transformation. She stormed in like a queen with a crown made of platinum and controversy. The face we knew in the 90s, the fierce, fearless, unapologetic rapper with curves and attitude, didn't just age naturally. It evolved, strategically, dramatically, like a chessboard being reset every year. Nose jobs, cheek enhancements, jaw reshaping, lip augmentations, and rumors about skin tone that had tabloids working overtime. Every tweak was intentional, a statement, a weapon in a world that constantly tried to define her worth. She didn't do it for vanity. That's the joke everyone misses. Every procedure was armor, every enhancement a declaration. I am not what you say I am. The dark humor? People freaked out, called her unrecognizable, tragic, plastic. Yet she showed up everywhere. Red carpets, stages, interviews, owning every change, daring the public to blink or judge. And the internet? Of course they did. Side-by-sides, memes, endless threads. People acted like her face betrayed them personally, like they had a say, like they were invited. The clever part is how she used the chaos. Lil' Kim weaponized attention. Every wig, every contour, every procedure became part of the persona. It wasn't just cosmetic, it was emotional, cultural, symbolic. She transformed into someone bigger than her physical features. Someone audacious, messy, human, defiant. People laughed, people cried, people debated, and she thrived. Because thriving in that spotlight meant controlling what the world could see, even if it was extreme, even if it was misunderstood. The dark twist is the cost. You could see the tension between self-expression and public obsession. Every tweak became a headline, every angle a scandal. The humor? Public outrage over someone's survival strategy. People treat reinvention like a crime if it's visible enough. Yet Lil' Kim walked through it, unapologetic, owning the narrative that Hollywood and the internet desperately wanted to rewrite.
Lil' Kim's story proves the brutal truth. In Hollywood, transformation is never cosmetic. It's survival, identity, power, and sometimes rebellion, all wrapped into one face that refuses to stay still. And while she mastered audacious reinvention, the lesson remains. Fame amplifies everything. Every tweak becomes a meme, every choice a case study, and every attempt to control your image is fair game for the world's entertainment.
And there you have it. 10 stories, 10 faces, 10 cautionary tales that prove one simple truth. Hollywood doesn't just make stars. It makes experiments. Lab rats with money, memes with social security numbers. Some walk away legends. Some walk away screenshots. Every tweak, every filler, every just one more procedure isn't just a choice. It's a public event, a headline, a viral moment. And the cruel joke? The world doesn't care why you did it. It only cares how it looks to them.
These celebrities didn't just play the game. They bet their faces, their identity, and sometimes their sanity. And we, the audience, watched, laughed, zoomed in, clicked, shared. Because nothing is more irresistible than watching someone gamble on themselves and losing spectacularly. Or winning, depending on your definition of winning. And the dark comedy? It never stops. Hollywood will keep whispering, one more tweak. The internet will keep screaming, evidence! And we'll all keep watching, because let's face it, this stuff is delicious, painful, hilarious, and absolutely impossible to look away from. So the lesson? Natural isn't optional. Vanity isn't private. Fame isn't forgiving. And no matter how careful you think you are, someone, somewhere, is grading your face like it's a final exam you didn't study for. These stories aren't just entertainment. They're warnings. They're therapy sessions disguised as memes. They're dark comedy with a side of regret, starring people you once loved and now can't stop staring at. And that's it. Hollywood wins again. The internet wins again. The celebrities? Well, some survived, some didn't. And we all get to enjoy the show, one screenshot at a time.